She is not a happy girl. Don't blame her, to be honest, but let's see if I can get her in. 1 OBT, 2 OBTs, and these are the black OBTs, so that's what we're going to do today. So thank you very much to Carlos for making the comment and requested that he'd like to see how I'm getting on with my OBTs. Obviously, as you can see there, it's the black OBTs, and I've got them down here in front of me. It's the Mikumi DCF form of OBT. I'll just give you a little look at them in a second. So it's the Mikumi Starburst, and these are terrestrial semi-arboreal, as you probably know, with OBTs. But there's a few different localities coming out now with different colorations of them, and I'm after the TCF one as well at the minute. I've not got those. So I'm going to rehouse 2 that I've got, and it's probably been quite some time since you've seen these. And what I've noticed with these as the OBTs, obviously they've webbed up quite well in their enclosures. I'll give you a close-up in a minute. They're normally out all the time, but they're not at the minute. So I don't know if that means they're going into molting, or sometimes they molt out, sometimes they molt inside. But they're not growing fast. So I feed them when obviously they come out and want feeding. But I don't know if it's they're limiting themselves down to the size of the enclosure. They're not expanding the web. So it's perfect time to move them onto something with a bit more depth to see if they web. But the only problem I've got is I don't know if I just take the webbing out and put it into the new enclosures, but then obviously you guys ain't going to see. So I'm just going to see if we can encourage these out and give you a look. Just open it up. It's webbed up now to the top of the enclosure. So I'm going to have to just destroy the top of the webbing. Right. Some pretty good chambers in here, but I can't actually see it. This is some strong webbing. See if I can find where it is. I think it's an inch. It's about an inch. They've not grown as fast as RCFs. I've got some RCFs. I've got female above. That'll probably, I'm going to rehouse in a second after I've done these into the same type enclosure, because she's in a white tub and I just don't like that. It was supposed to be temporary, but she's growing very, very fast. These are growing slow, and I wanted to slow them down just because I didn't know which one was a male or a female. If there's any difference, I could have 2 males or 2 females. But I did have 3 and 1 perished, but these 2 are doing good. But this is the first time I've not been able to see them. And if any of you have got these Mikumis, if you could let me know in the comments what you think, how yours act, because my RCF goes into threat pose so quick. These have never given me one, not one, even when you put prey items in. So I don't know what to do. Should I destroy it, or I didn't really want to destroy it because I wanted to be able to just take the web and put it into the new one, so it's got something to, you know, it's got its own pheromones and it could just move off a bit quicker, because I've done it with RCF before, and it took about a month before she started laying webs. She used to just sit there on the side of the enclosure. So I was just trying to do it this way, but I'm going to have to give you guys a look. Right. Do not do that with fingers. Like I say, I've never had a threat from these, but you can hear that squeaking. That is the web. That is very, very strong. So I don't know if you can see in there, that is the feet of one of the OBTs, but because the webbing is so white and the OBT is so dark in there, I cannot get a good look. I'm going to have to open this up. Look at that, it's absolutely stunning. You can't even see it yet, but that is just so pretty. Look at that coloration, absolutely gorgeous. It's almost ginger hairs on the legs. It's well fed. I need to get it out a little bit more. And there you have it. You can almost see the 2 eyes and what I call the scarecrow pattern, like on the Lungardis. And this has it on the back as well, but that is absolutely stunning. That is really, really attractive. I love these spiders. But you can see there's still not a single threat at all. So I think what I'm going to do is rehouse this completely new. So let me just do up the enclosure. There we go, we've caught that nice and easy, so I can just dispose of all the bits in there. And it's still scrunched up. Let's get that out of the way. Right, it's actually scrunched up, but it's closer to 2 inches, so when it stretches out, it's easily just over 2 inches, but it doesn't look like it. But I'll give you a closer look in a bit. Let me just see if I can find this one. Right, I've opened this one up. You can see that in there. They just don't move. They're so bold, but they just sit out and they just freeze. They are not the same as the other one. So the different localities do act completely different. So whether that's due to the environment or other predators and stuff like that that live there, but these are local to Burundi, Malawi, Angola, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Zambia and the Congo. So you can find them over the different terrains in those different countries. And they like 22 to about probably 28. See, they can go slightly higher, but I think somewhere in between there, 24 to 26, they are really, really settled, and they enjoy that quite a lot. Humidity, you don't really need to worry about these with humidity. It says like 60 to 70%, but as long as they're getting regular prey items, they get their moisture through it. But when they're tiny slings, you can put a little water dish in, but I find they don't like it and they web it up completely. So let's see if I can get this one to come on up. This one I did with the leaf, so that's the chamber where it is, but I did it with the leaf as a hide, and it used the leaf and just completely webbed up that leaf. So that works, and it's done its dark chamber underneath. So I'm really intrigued to see what they do in the new enclosures, but I'm going to try see if I can catch this one. So this one's very well fed as well. You can see the size of that abdomen. No idea if these are male or female. I'm just going to have to wait a little bit longer because they keep their molts inside and they just web it up in their like hides that they do, but they don't look too different. But if I get them in their new enclosures, then we can have a look at them and see if there's any difference, but I don't think there is. And you can do this with a black OBT that I wouldn't do with a red OBT. Get right down there, because as soon as you go near a red OBT, they can see the movement and they react. These just stay still for some reason, unless it's some sort of camouflage. Like a lot of animals, if they get spotted, they just freeze. So they must be in an environment where it's like dark black rocks and like dark substrate. So they just think they can't be seen. So that one's closer to 2.5, probably a little bit more. So that is pretty good. Let's see if we get a threat display from this one. Nope. And it just goes back in. I've literally just messed around with it now completely, and it's rolled over underneath, and I'm just touching it, and just there you go, walk straight out. No threat display at all. Just secure this off. There we go. So that's enough substrate. And what that'll do is I've given the OBT a central hide. And I know that a lot of you probably don't do this, but it's just off all my other OBTs what I do. They tend to do like higher webbing, and they'll web over sticks, branches, plants and stuff like that. So I'm going to put some more anchor points in here. But the reason I'm doing this with the black OBTs is they seem to almost go slightly fossorially. And I just want to give them somewhere they can hide as a base, so it's easier for me to locate them in their webbing, because their webbing is super, super strong. So that's the idea. So let me just put some more bits and pieces in it, and that's what I've gone for. So let's drop it down and give you a look. That will give it plenty of anchor points and a central position. So I've done the plants around that central position, but I'm not expecting these plants to be on show. They're going to be completely covered once it starts webbing up and coming up to the top. But at least then I know that'll be the central point from where it'll do its chamber in the middle, and I'll always know where it retreats back to. So that's what I've done on that one. And the other one is just the same. So you can see it's all done in like an arch over, so it's going to go straight in there as soon as I put it in. We'll probably not even get to see it, but yeah, I think that's going to be brilliant. Right, so let's rehouse these, and I think I'll do this one in that one over there, and then we'll get these in. Hopefully we get another chance to have a look, and then I'll get my RCF confirmed female, the one that's Lucy's, called Sunshine, because she absolutely loves an OBT that goes absolutely mental. So that one there's Lucy, so we'll rehouse that after as well, because I want it in a tub like this. And I think what I'll probably do is I might set the RCF up exactly the same as this, just to see if it does the same. But I've noticed the RCF has brought up its tub, I'll show you in a minute, and it's done its webbing up about this high. So it likes to be more arboreal. But as you can see with these, just sitting there, the red one would just be going straight off with all the movement. Like, I could quite comfortably just take this off and move that out of the way. And let's see if we can get this in nice and easy. For a BBT, nothing like an OBT. So let's just see if I can do this. So I've angled it, there's the hide. I think it's just going to completely disappear straight down, or I think it's going to give me a threat. But can we see through there? Look at that, like nothing. Whoa, see, it could just explode if it wants. That is stunning. Let me just move out of the way just in case. Seriously. How are they so chilled? Look at that. That is not normal, is it? Don't even know if I caught that on there. Didn't run straight in. It's around the side. Just see if I can take this out. There we go. So they're well fed, and that was super chilled. That is so not normal. Maybe BBTs are a little bit more calmer. You saw me poke it there, prod it, put it in the cup, take it out, and it didn't do a threat display, not even once. So that is absolutely amazing. So let me just put the lid on this one. Leave that there, it's facing you, the spider, to see if you can see that. But that was super chilled for an OBT. So it's going to be very interesting for myself and you guys to watch how that webs up in that enclosure. So there's plenty enough room. And this is the small one off the spider shop. So I'm going to try and get some mediums. I don't really like the large because they're the really long, wide ones. So I don't really like those. So the small and mediums are enough. And what I've learned with pretty much most of my tractors now, they don't need a massive void of space. So they tend to do better in a more confined space if you set it up correctly to their specifications. So there you go. It's just gone straight down in its hide, and that is out of the way. So you're not going to see that now. And I love these tubs because then you've got the lid on the top, which I could just pop open to drop food through. And then you've got the side hatch as well, just to put things through as well. So that's one. Let me just start with number two. Yeah, so you guys can see as well from that angle. Right, and I wouldn't just do this with any other OBT, but look at that, still nothing. Legs caught, there we go. See what happens. Bet you any money I don't get none of that from the red OBT. That's just amazing. So that can't be a fluke. That's two of them. That's super chilled. It's going to run out then. Stay in there. Let me just get the lid and then let's try and have a little look. I don't want this one running out everywhere. And there we go. So chilled. Really, really happy with these. Definitely want to get some more. The Mikumi Starburst. It's almost like it isn't an OBT. Not with that temperament, both of them. So that's both the OBTs, or as I call them, the BBTs, because it's the black baboon tarantula, and very, very chilled. I think if you notice as well, I didn't put a water dish in these. I'm not going to put a water dish in these enclosures. I haven't done with any of the OBTs, only when they're tiny slings where I keep them in these little sling pots. I put a tiny little link pot in there just so they have it between molts and stuff like that, but now they don't need it. They're well fed. The substrate's moist, so I'm going to leave that to dry out. Sometimes what I do is I lightly mist once or twice a month, maybe, on the web once it's laid up web, and that is as much as I do with the OBTs. If they've gone off food for a while, then I tend to mist a little bit more just so they've got somewhere to drink. But I mist not as in the enclosure's completely damp, just a few drops on the top of the web. That's all you need to do. It sits down the web and they can take from it, which I have seen them do. Those two BBTs, let's do the OBT. See, this is the OBT Lucy's, and I've just moved it and it's just come straight out straight away. It's already like getting angry. I don't know if you could see that in there, but it's webbed up the whole of these tubs. And this was just a temporary idea for me. Now it's come around this side, and this is bigger than my other ones. See if I can show you. There she is. And this is the one Lucy's called Sunshine, and she is an RCF, confirmed female. A lot more attitude in this one, and you can see she's done the web in like a spiral, and she normally sits down here. This is where she lays. She's got another central chamber, so that's why I'm probably going to do the same. But just look at the height of that webbing. I mean, that's the size of my hand. I've got massive hands, and that's the whole of the tub. And she comes right at the top, and I've actually seen her drink as well. But I did put a water dish in there, and she's just put it into the side of her enclosure. So let me just see if I can take the lid off. Sometimes she comes exploding up when I take the lid off. But it's an OBT is a tarantula you have to respect. But I find them quite predictable. I think the rest of you that have them in the hobby will understand what I mean by that. If they do get aggressive and kick off, they give you so many warnings, like they'll display up on, fold themselves in half, and they'll do a couple of slaps. They'll keep doing, and if you get within a certain distance, they've got good eyesight, but I'm not sure about colour reference, but they can see movement and they can follow you. And if they give you so many warnings, I find they tend to probably run a little bit in defence and slap. But when that doesn't work, then they'll just get skittish and want to run away and run off. But you've got to respect them for they have potent venom. And like, you touch the web and they're quick to respond. She normally comes flying out, but because I've got the torchlight on there, she's run off. She doesn't like it. She prefers to be in the dark. And now I can't see her at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the top off, because I don't care if she comes out. And I'll quickly set up an enclosure that's just a little bit better I can see through, and we'll put her in. But look at you see what I'm on about with the spirals. It's like a tornado. That's what that looks like to me. The way she's done the web chamber, it's just stunning. So that's all I've done. Nice bigger hide for her, and a bit more substrate at the back. Now let's just put a bit of green foliage in. And there we go, so she'll be able to do some good webbing on there. So that's it, let's see if I can catch her. So like I said before, you don't need to do a hide for an OBT, as long as you give them anchor points. Let's see if we can catch this one. I have to stand up for this. See, the difference with this one straight away is I'm messing with the web, and she doesn't run away, she comes to what I'm doing, look. Completely different attitude, but also more stunning. Let's just see if I can cup her. Christ, can you see that? I've got her right there. She's got her fangs out as well. I don't know if you can see that. Completely different attitude. There we go. Classic OBT. She is not a happy girl. Don't blame her, to be honest, but let's see if I can get her in. There we go. Not too difficult to get. Let's move this lid. And there we have an RCF OBT. She's bigger than the black OBTs. Not sure how much. Easily 3 inches. Let's just see if we can have a look at her before she goes running off. Let's take that off. Yes, you can see it's the same sort of style carapace, and the abdomen is the same sort of style pattern with the 2 eyes, but completely different attitudes on this one. But still wasn't that difficult. They're really predictable once you've had so many OBTs and you've raised them from slings. And this is Lucy's favourite because she normally is quite aggressive, and I wouldn't say like aggressive has come out of the way to get you, but every time we go in or go out, even if I don't go in her enclosure, she will, if I walk past her enclosure in an evening, I come in and I check on stuff behind me or stuff over there, she just comes running out and she does like a slap, and you can hear the tap on the side of the tub. And I just don't like the fact that with this, I did the holes on the tub, and I could hear her put her fangs through, and she'd be doing this scratching, and you could just hear it like that when I'd come in the evening. And for some days I'd be like, what is it? Where's it coming from? And I didn't realise it was from her. So this isn't very tough. So I've seen other tarantulas like a Tilicatal albopolossum break through the plastic side on an enclosure. So they are quite strong. And I just didn't want her doing that. So I wanted to put her into something a bit more stronger plastic, because this is too flimsy. But it's a good temporary one. So I've just got to get her in there, and as you can see, I'm just messing with her. I've got the lid off and she's just completely chilled, but now I need to see if I can get her in here without her going up and out. So let's see what happens. She's going to be angry, but I don't want to run in straight into the hide, so if I could just place her there. See if I can push her down. Not a threat at all. Come on, go down, not up. There we go. Stay down, stay down. Right. Don't come under, not that way. There we go, look, straight into the hide. But look at that, look, feels completely safe and covered in there. Another very well fed OBT. So they do like hides, but they will come out and they will web up. But I think what I found before is if they do have a hide, they tend to not web up as high enough. That's okay for me, because I want them to web completely over this enclosure, but just have somewhere central. And then that makes it a lot easier for me when they have egg sacs as well, because I'm planning on breeding an OBT. That is a must. I want to breed one of these. But this is Sunshine, so this is Lucy's OBT, the RCF. Absolutely stunning, and showed you there that couple of threat poses, that was it, but they're quite easy to maneuver around, and it is in its new enclosure. Get the lid on, and that's it. So we did the OBTs today, BBTs 2 and the OBT 1, and that's it. So look out for the next update and I'll show you how much they've webbed in here, and if I regretted putting this one in this enclosure, because it is a subadult size, and I think that you can see her just hanging out of the entrance there. I think that she may web this whole complete enclosure, and I might have to move her over to something a bit bigger in a couple of months. But there we go. So I hope that was enough for you, Carlos, and you saw what I did with the OBTs, and now I'm expecting the BBTs to grow a lot more and a bit quicker. So thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video.